It's Monday the 13th of January and this is Race to Power on WION World is One. We're glad you're watching. I'm Eric Njoka. Tonight, tech billionaire Elon Musk continues to ruffle some more feathers, but only this time from Republicans and Donald Trump's associates, with Steve Bannon expressing concerns about Musk's support for the H-1B visa program. And in Pakistan, the verdict in the Al-Qadir Trust case against Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi has yet again been postponed. So why the delay? We speak to our correspondent from Islamabad. Welcome to the show. All right, in just a week, Donald Trump will officially take over the US presidency. The inauguration, scheduled on the 20th of January, will mark the beginning of a new chapter in American politics. The ceremony at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. will also see J.D. Vance taking oath as a vice president. In a historic departure from tradition, the Trump team has invited world leaders from across the globe to attend the event, including key allies and rivals. Representing India at the ceremony will be External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who will also hold high-level talks with the incoming administration and global dignitaries. China's President Xi Jinping has been invited to the ceremony. However, reports suggest that the premier will likely send a high-ranking envoy instead. Leaders like Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, Argentinian President Javier Milei, and Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban are expected to attend. Invites have also been sent to former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and French far-right politician Eric Zemmour. The inaugural committee has already raised over $170 million, with donations pouring in from industry giants like Boeing, Google, Meta, and Microsoft, along with tech leaders like Tim Cook and Sam Altman. All right, let's talk about what's coming on the 20th of January, and joining us is our correspondent Susan Teherani from New York. Susan, hi, good to see you. Are there any surprises on the invited list?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I will say, Eric, that it's very uncommon for world leaders to attend an inauguration, notably because the inauguration team and parties here in the United States wanted to keep this sort of as a non-partisan, non-political issue and a transfer of power. But as is usually with President-elect Donald Trump, things change all the time, and there are always new ceremonies and traditions. And it seems like this time it's going to be the case as well. We do know Benjamin Netanyahu is definitely going to be there. As you mentioned, Javier Milei is expected to be there. Vladimir Putin, of course, will not be there. I'm not sure why his name is even in the mix. And also Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, while he hasn't received an official invite, a lot of these leaders haven't. They've talked to the president-elect directly themselves. But it appears that Zelensky, because he hasn't been formally invited, he's not going to take part. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see who takes part. But I will say, as I mentioned, usually it's an envoy, maybe a minister at the highest level, but usually countries send their ambassadors. So it'll be interesting to see world leaders during this inauguration.
All right, it's 7 days to go to the inauguration on the 20th of January. Susan Teherani, let's wait and see if there will be indeed any surprises in the coming days. Susan, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as Donald Trump prepares to re-enter the White House, there is trouble in his camp of loyalists. The president-elect's former chief strategist, Stephen K. Bannon, is at odds with American billionaire Elon Musk. Bannon has intensified his public attack against Musk over the latter's influence on the incoming administration. Steve Bannon, who served as chief executive of Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, expressed concerns about Elon Musk's support for the H-1B visa program, sparking a bitter rift between far-right activists and Trump's tech executive supporters. This visa program permitted foreigners with technical skills to work in the US for up to 6 years. tech companies see this as a crucial lifeline for Silicon Valley. Bannon accused Musk of promoting techno-feudalism and argued that his ideas were detrimental to the American workers. While Trump sided with Musk on the skilled worker visa program, Bannon has vowed to limit Musk's influence to shape the president-elect's agenda, adding that he would do anything to keep him out of the White House. In an interview in an Italian newspaper, Bannon said Musk must be sent to his birthplace, South Africa, and be denied privileged access to the West Wing. And according to a report in the Wall Street Journal, despite having a top-secret security clearance, Musk's access to sensitive information has been restricted due to concerns over his drug use and foreign connections. A political newcomer who previously supported candidates from both parties, Musk emerged as one of Trump's most influential advisors, donating over $277 million to Republicans in the 2024 elections. His appointment to lead the Department of Government Efficiency alongside Vivek Ramaswamy has sparked concerns, as the department does not have any formal government authority and must work with the White House to have its recommendations implemented. As Trump's second term begins, it remains to be seen how he resolves tensions within his team, as well as define Musk's role in shaping administration policies in the coming future. Geoffrey Kabasavis is an author and vice president of political studies at Niskanen Center. He is joining us live from Virginia, the United States. Mr. Kabasavis, thank you very much for making time for us and welcome to the program. We heard from the outgoing U.S. Secretary of State last week. He said that people should not really pay attention to Elon Musk because he's a private citizen, and some of the comments or sentiments that he makes should not be taken seriously. How influential or how much of an outsider is Elon Musk in this administration?
Hi, Eric. Good to be with you. You know, there's a lot of trepidation here in the Washington, D.C. area about what will happen in Donald Trump's next term. I think it's useful in a way to think of the Trump administration as something more like a royal court, with many factions of noblemen vying for the influence with the royal family, but none of them really united. There are many factions within even MAGA republicanism. And Elon Musk represents one, and Steve Bannon represents very much another. Musk has a lot of influence because Trump likes him as a rich person, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who is dynamic and contributing to America's technological competition with China. On the other hand, Steve Bannon can be said to represent Trump's populist conscience and in many ways speaks for Trump's hardest core base. So this is an interesting preview of the factional debates that we'll be seeing throughout the Trump administration. And I think it's too soon to dismiss either Musk or Bannon as an influential competitor within that race.
Mr. Geoffrey Kabasavis, let me ask you this then. We will see J.D. Vance being inaugurated as the Vice President of the United States, but we've not seen much of J.D. Vance in the past few months. We've only seen Trump and Elon Musk and Trump. Where is J.D. Vance? It looks like the number 3 is more important than the number 2.
So far, Elon Musk has got a lot more visibility than J.D. Vance has. J.D. Vance has even suggested on Musk's X platform that he might skip the inauguration to go to the Ohio State Championship football game. I think J.D. Vance is genuinely torn between the populist faction represented by Steve Bannon and the technological faction represented by Elon Musk. On the one hand, J.D. Vance came to prominence by writing his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, about the difficulties faced by working-class Americans and the reasons why they might look to a figure like Trump for their salvation. On the other hand, he himself has succeeded in the meritocracy by graduating from Yale Law School and then going on to work for Peter Thiel, among other Silicon Valley billionaires who are allies of Musk. So I think he might just be staying out of this battle for fear that it might actually contaminate his influence in the incoming Trump administration.
Mr. Kabasavis, just very quickly, we've seen what Musk has been doing in Europe. Do you think that will have an impact on Trump's presidency in the near future?
Trump doesn't believe in the European alliance, although it's to be seen whether he will actually withdraw from NATO. So I don't think he minds that Elon Musk is stirring populist right-wing currents in Europe and elsewhere around the globe. On the other hand, Trump doesn't like it when his underlings quarrel. He doesn't like it when they seem to be seen as speaking for him. So to the extent that Elon Musk's influence, not just within the United States, but globally increases, Trump might actually see him as somebody who needs to be sidelined. And that clearly is what Steve Bannon is trying to do, to make Elon Musk seem a threat to Trump's own popularity and credibility.
Great to speak to you. I've been talking to Mr. Geoffrey Kabasavis. He's a political analyst from Virginia, the United States. Mr. Kabasavis, as always, thank you.
Pleasure to be with you, Eric.
The verdict in the Al-Qadir Trust case against Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi has yet again been postponed. The announcement has been delayed for the third time. The new date given by court is 19th of January. Interestingly, the verdict is scheduled for a potential third round of talks between the Pakistan government and representatives of the PTI party. The case revolves around the $231.71 million settlement between the UK's National Crime Agency and Pakistani businessman Malik Riaz's family 5 years ago. Malik Riaz's assets were frozen under the Criminal Finances Act 2017, which targets money laundering in the United Kingdom. Malik Riaz agreed to an out-of-court settlement returning the funds to Pakistan without admitting guilt. The settlement also said to have included a $61 million UK property. According to reports, the funds were transferred to the Supreme Court's account instead of the government's account. Imran Khan has been accused of misusing his power to approve the settlement and allegedly gaining personally from the deal. He and his wife are accused of receiving undue benefits, including prime land for the construction of the Al-Qadir University in exchange for striking a deal to give legal cover to Malik Riaz's alleged black money. The National Accountability Bureau has been investigating allegations of corruption and abuse of authority involving Imran Khan and others. The outcome of the case today is expected to have significant implications for Imran Khan's future. Our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik is now joining us live from Islamabad. Anas Malik, good to see you. How much of an impact will this Al-Qadir case, despite it being postponed and delayed, have on the negotiations between PTI and the government?
Well, I'll just give you an update because as we speak, a short while back, the Pakistani Defense Minister Khwaja Asif spoke on the floor of the House and has asked for the government to call off the negotiations with the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Remember, Khwaja Asif is one of the very staunch voices against and opposing these negotiations alongside the Chief Minister of Pakistan's Punjab, Maryam Nawaz Sharif. With that being said, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf had already taken to the floor protesting today against what they say is the government's treatment. This is the third time that the verdict has been delayed on Imran Khan with regards to his political future, because this is perhaps the only case that does hold some merit, at least prima facie. With that being said, the Speaker on his part has moved the negotiations that were originally scheduled to be held on the 15th of January at the Parliament House. There it has been moved by a day, and it will now be held on the 16th of January at 11:30 a.m. at Pakistan's Parliament between the opposition and the Pakistani government negotiators. Eric?
All right, that is our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik. Anas Malik, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you. Let's move on now. In India, the political battle for Delhi is heating up, with assembly elections due to be held on February 5th. Parties are leaving no stone unturned in wooing voters, even through their digs at political rivals on social media. The Bharatiya Janata Party has released several posters mocking former Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal. The party has attacked AAP Supremo by morphing his face on Bollywood movie posters centered around negative characters. BJP took a swipe at the alleged liquor policy scam, which put Kejriwal and many top AAP leaders in legal trouble. In response, Aam Aadmi Party's social media handle released a poster featuring BJP leader and Delhi elections candidate Ramesh Biduri. labeling him as someone who uses profane language. Biduri earlier drew criticism from across party lines for his personal remarks on Delhi Chief Minister Atishi, where he targeted her father. Amid growing political rhetoric, parties are also clashing on election issues. While addressing a gathering on Sunday, Aam Aadmi Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal said that he will not contest elections if the BJP-led central government can ensure housing for all slum dwellers in the national capital. The comments come as a response to Union Home Minister Amit Shah's remarks, urging Delhi's voters to, quote, throw out the Aam Aadmi Party from the state government to ensure welfare. In the midst of the AAP-BJP duel, Congress's senior leader Rahul Gandhi entered the campaign and held his first rally early in the day. The Congress party, which has been out of power for over 10 years, does not even hold a single assembly seat at the moment and is scrambling to make a comeback. And in South Korea, the trial of suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol has begun. The Constitutional Court is to determine whether Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment is valid. Yoon Suk-yeol was impeached after his brief martial law order on December 3rd last year triggered a political crisis in the country. The first day of hearing ended early with Yoon Suk-yeol absent from court today. His lawyers say that the suspended president will be present at the hearing on Tuesday, and his absence on the first day was strictly to do with security concerns. Simultaneously, the former Prime Minister's pre-trial hearing also began earlier in the day. Han Duck-soo was made acting president and survived 13 days before he was also impeached. Han Duck-soo faces trial for not approving justices to the Constitutional Court. Opposition accuses him of active involvement in the martial law debacle. As courtroom drama ensues, South Koreans remain divided over the country's political affairs. Asia's fourth largest economy and a key ally of the US, South Korea's worst political crisis in decades also has Gen Z on the edge.
I'm not a sexual minority, but as someone who supports sexual minorities, I think that the reason so many of them are coming out to the impeachment rally is because they want to create a better society and spread their values as democratic citizens.
In the history of the Republic of Korea, martial law has always been a painful issue for the people. And I think that President Yoon Suk-yeol has made it even more painful by taking such a hardline approach despite the fact that there were more lenient methods available. So I came out in support of the impeachment.
I think the Democratic Party's biased policy of withdrawing U.S. troops from Korea and increasing tariffs is truly unfair. So in order to protect President Yoon Suk-yeol and defend liberal democracy, I am now protesting here, holding both the Korean flag and the flag of the United States, a strong ally of Korea.
When talking about politics with my friends, no matter how much I tell them the truth, they don't listen. So we naturally become distant.
Croatia's incumbent president Zoran Milanovic has won a second term. He defeated Dragan Primorac, a candidate from the ruling conservative HDZ party, in Sunday's runoff election. The election was held as the European Union and NATO member country of 3.8 million struggles with biting inflation, corruption scandals and a labor shortage. Milanovic got 74% of the vote as against Primorac, who received nearly 26%. At 58, Milanovic is the most popular politician in Croatia and is often compared to US President-elect Donald Trump for his combative style of communication with political opponents. He had also won comfortably in the first round of voting on the 29th of December last year as he secured 49% of the votes, falling short of securing the required 50% by just 5,000 votes. Primorac trailed far behind with 19% of the votes. Milanovic's triumph sets the stage for a continued confrontation with Croatia's Prime Minister Andrej Plenković. In fact, it already seems to have begun. Plenković congratulated Milanovic's rival Primorac for his election campaign.
Čestitam Draganu Primorcu na angažmanu, na sve.
He was being attacked from the far right and the far left. That obviously had an effect in the first round and in the runoff too. I thank him for his really engaging campaign and the support he received.
Iz krajnje desna i sa lijeva i to.
Though the presidency is largely ceremonial in Croatia, an elected president holds political authority and acts as a supreme military commander. The same was highlighted by Milanovic in his first public address after the announcement of the results.
In matters of defense and national security, as the constitution says, I will be the supreme commander. So not just equal, but the top responsible person and the highest ranking. Because that's what the constitution says.
Mass protests have erupted in Romania. Tens of thousands of people took to the streets of Bucharest on Sunday, demanding justice over a cancelled presidential election. Outgoing centrist President Klaus Iohannis is facing calls to resign as protesters are demanding the immediate rescheduling of the ballot.
The democracy was buried because the second round of the presidential election was blocked and cancelled. Voting had started in the second round, and unfortunately this government lead by these thieves and criminals annulled it.
Well, Romania's top court annulled the election on December 6th, just 2 days before the second round, citing evidence of an unfair social media campaign backing frontrunner Călin Georgescu. The campaign is suspected to have been orchestrated by Russia, a claim Moscow denies. The court has ordered a complete rerun of the election, but the pro-European coalition government is yet to finalize the dates. Party leaders have proposed 4th of May or 18th of May for the two rounds. Uncertainty remains over whether Georgescu, a critic of NATO and an opponent of Romania's support for Ukraine, will be allowed to run again. This decision has fueled a political crisis in a country already divided over its pro-EU and pro-NATO stance. Thousands of Serbians took to the streets in capital Belgrade as part of the ongoing protests against corruption. They are also demanding justice for those killed in a train station roof collapse. The demonstrations have been ongoing for 2 months since a roof in a train station in the northern city of Novi Sad collapsed on November 1st and killed 15 people. The train station had undergone restoration work recently. Opposition leaders and the public have taken to the streets repeatedly, blaming the accident on shoddy construction resulting from government corruption and nepotism. Thousands of people converged on central Belgrade, blowing whistles and wearing badges featuring a bloody hand, which has become a protest symbol. Well, the demonstrations in the country of 6.8 million people have been initiated by students who have blocked universities. More than a dozen people have been charged in connection with the tragedy, including former Transport Minister Goran Vesic, who resigned days after the incident. Well, thank you for watching. Race to Power on WION World is One. I'm American Joker. Stay with us.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch. The biggest gathering of humanity on the planet.
This is quite an interesting spot.
WION brings you exclusive coverage from the ground of the Mahakumbh Mela.
These bikes will be patrolling all around.
From security to infrastructure. From tent city to Sangam. We've got you covered. This is Triveni Sangam, where Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers meet. Experience faith. Experience culture.
Tent as well.
Experience Mahakun. Only on WION. World is One. WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is One.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of. A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA. Join the conversation.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
Welcome back. You are watching WION World is One. Thank you for staying with us. Time now for Fine Print. I'm Eric Njoka. Our top stories. Reports of a breakthrough in Doha on a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release agreement in talks between Israel's spy chief, Trump's West Asia envoy, and the Qatar Prime Minister. Final draft sent to Israel and Hamas for approval.